Four matches happened on the day two of the ICC Cricket World Cup global qualifiers in Zimbabwe, all with expected results, but with a slight of debate that whether the game should have been given ODI status or not. I, Yash Lavdi, welcome you all to Mutual Fund Sahi Hai, the outside view powered by Fantasy Akhada.
इस इनिंग्स की शुरुआत म्यूचुअल फंड से कर। थोड़े थोड़े पैसे एसआईपी के जरिए म्यूचुअल फंड्स में इन्वेस्ट कर। सही समय पे ये काम आए।
अरे फिर से म्यूचुअल फंड्स? सही है।
म्यूचुअल फंड निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। योजना से जुड़े सभी दस्तावेजों को
Welcome Ananya to the show. Day two, all expected results as we thought. But there was a scare in that Pakistan versus Thailand match when Pakistan got all out for 145.
Yeah, it was a bit of a scare. Looking at the scorecard at halftime, Pakistan 145 all out. Alia Riaz kind of rescuing them again. I was a little worried considering that Thailand had posted 150 in a 20-over game against a similarly strong Pakistan attack. So was a little worried for them. But, again, the spinners kind of came to the fore for Pakistan, dug them out of trouble, and Thailand seemed to, I think sometimes when teams, lower ranked teams have a realistic chance of winning, the pressure kind of piles up on you, and they clearly didn't respond well to it.
So, but you were always positive that Pakistan should be winning this. Alia Riaz. So it's always happening, and it has happened a lot many times in the last year that it has always come down to Nidadar and Alia Riaz helping Pakistan out of that trouble zone. Do you feel there should be a change in that batting order? Riaz needs to be promoted because clearly the top 4 or 5 aren't doing that great for Pakistan.
Look, I think that is something that could be considered. I think Nidadar batting at 5 or 6 is a little too low for her. She's someone who can control the innings, especially in the absence of Bismar Maroof. I think that's something that Pakistan really need to consider. When they have Bismar at 3 or 4, it's a completely different ball game. Then you have Dar and Riaz at 6 and 7. They blast at the back end, but without Bismar Maroof, I think they need to have one of the more experienced players at that number 4 position. The hope is that Javeria Khan has found a bit of form. She did score 38 yesterday. She opened the batting. Aisha Zafar missed out and Sidra Nawaz came in. So you'd hope that she's found a bit of form, which means that Pakistan then solved that issue. Javeria not getting runs for them has always been a big concern. So maybe to push Dar up the order makes sense. But look, I think that Pakistan lineup is full of so much talent that you expect them to come good. I don't think they're playing to their potential, and that's something that Marina did mention in the preview as well, that they haven't been delivering. There's plenty of talent there, but they're just not delivering. And that's the concern with Pakistan. So hopefully, the win with points on the board, it gives them a bit of confidence, because had they lost against Thailand, I think their World Cup dreams could have been shattered.
The World Cup dreams could have been shattered, but with Thailand winning the first game and now putting up a close fight, do you see Thailand be there in the top 5, potentially playing the next round of ICC ODI Championship?
Look, they've shown the potential to. And if they continue to play in the way they have, you'd think that they'd manage a win in the Super 6 and then sneak their way into that top 5. But like I said in the preview as well, that I feel like it will be a bit too much for Thailand to do, especially if they go into that Super 6 without any points, which feels like it's going to be very likely unless they upset Bangladesh. So, if they go into that Super 6 without any points, I feel like for them to beat Ireland will maybe, that's their only hope. So they'll have to play extremely well to beat Ireland. So I'm not quite sure, but the way they're playing, you never know.
The only ODI that happened yesterday was West Indies versus Ireland. A slightly a game which we were thinking could be competitive. Yeah, but Deandra Dotting coming to the fore, and it never looked like, oh, okay, Ireland are in control of that particular game.
Look, I think Ireland actually started off very well with the bat. They had a 79 run opening stand between Gabby Lewis and Leah Paul. And at that stage, it looked like they could push the 200, 220 mark. And had they gotten those runs, I think they would have put a little more pressure on West Indies with the ball. I thought Emma Richardson bowled really well. She picked up a couple of wickets. I know they were kind of late in the chase, but she did bowl really well. And I think had Ireland managed that 220, they would have put a bit more pressure on West Indies. But with 150, and considering the form Deandra Dottin is in, 160 was never enough for them.
Any positives you see for Ireland? Because we all have predicted that Ireland should be in that top 5, may not play the World Cup, but they've shown quite promising signs there.
Yeah, I think, like I said, that opening partnership is something that did really work for them. So just the way Gabby Lewis batted, the way she started off her innings was very promising. So there's something to build on. I think what really hurt Ireland was that collapse in the middle, and they never really recovered after they lost Leah Paul. Then Amy Hunter got run out. Laura Delaney didn't really make too many runs, but that lower middle order, again, led by Richardson, they kind of managed to push them past that 140, 150 mark. So if they manage to get something out of Laura Delaney, and I think she's going to be a key factor if Ireland want to qualify for that ODI championship, that she will have to find some runs if they want to get into that top 5.
It was another match between Sri Lanka and Netherlands. Sri Lankan captain Chamari Atapattu returns, and with that bang, a century. I think so. It's the joint fifth highest century it could have been. Had it been considered an ODI, it's not. So she misses out on an ODI century as the Sharmin Akhter of Bangladesh. But the way Netherlands batted, slightly, that was the positive point for them, not the bowling.
Yeah, I think that partnership between Babette Delita and Sarah Callis was definitely a huge positive for them. I think it was a 140-run stand for the second wicket. And at that point, it really did feel like Sri Lanka were under a bit of pressure. They couldn't find a wicket without Shashikala Sirivardhane. The question came up, who are your wicket-taking bowlers? Kavisha Dilhari, of course, didn't play. So, where are you finding your wickets from? But again, for Sri Lanka, it was that senior pair of Ranavira and Oshadi Ranasinghe who kind of tied things down. And then, Netherlands were always chasing the 8 ball. So, look, I feel like there's a lot of positive that came out of that game for Netherlands, even though they didn't come out on the winning side. So I think that game between Netherlands and Ireland is going to be very interesting for this group.
Netherlands and Ireland is going to be very interesting, is what Ananya predicts. But the fourth match of the day, not much to talk about because it was completely one-sided affair. Bangladesh posted 322 for 5 in their 50 overs. USA got all out for 52, and that too, they took 30.5 overs.
Yeah, look, I feel like especially after Bangladesh beat Pakistan, it was always going to be a case of either they fall flat from that high because they're slightly overconfident, or they just kick on from there. And look, USA were never going to be too much of a threat to a side like Bangladesh. I thought the only really chance they would have had is if Tara Norris got some early wickets early on, but there were some interesting fields from USA at the start. 2 slips a gully, they had a short leg, but clearly that didn't work. And once Bangladesh got off to a bit of a start, they were just too hot to handle.
And Sharmin Akhter misses out on an ODI century. We all feel sad for that particular thing because Bangladesh are a full member while USA is not, and that's the reason she misses out on her and probably Bangladesh's first ODI century.
Yeah, I mean, it is unfortunate that not all these games are being given ODI status. I think we did see that Thailand and USA were both celebrating the fact that they are now, they have made their ODI debuts, but that's obviously been taken back. And I think it's just really unfortunate that a tournament like this, it is an ICC qualifier for the World Cup. So you'd think that it would make sense to give ODI status to all these games. But yeah, I mean, I can't call it anything but unfortunate. I mean, it just doesn't make sense, I suppose.
Just in case people have missed this particular point, the top 11 rankings that includes the top 8 plus Bangladesh, Ireland, and Zimbabwe are full members, and hence all the matches that they play against a full member will only be counted as ODIs. The rest of the matches are not given ODI status. Pretty unfortunate because Atapattu and Sharmin both miss out on an ODI century yesterday, but that is how it is right now. Tomorrow, we again play how many matches? So tomorrow we play the 7th match between Bangladesh and Thailand. There is a match between Ireland and Netherlands. There is another one between Zimbabwe and USA. So 3 matches there. Ananya, what are your calls on these 3 matches?
Yeah, like I said earlier, I think that Ireland-Netherlands match will probably be very keenly contested, and it will be very important for both teams because only one of them will then progress to the Super Six. So, you know, that for me is probably going to be the most tightly contested game. The other one I'm really interested in is, of course, Bangladesh-Thailand. I think Thailand, yesterday, what really stood out about them, at least looking at the scorecard, was that in 48 overs, they only bowled 2 wides. You compare that to Pakistan, who bowled around 43 overs, bowled 11 wides. So I think just Thailand's discipline may be something that will challenge Bangladesh. So I back Bangladesh to win that for sure, but Thailand may just spring a couple of surprises. You never know.
Thailand may just bring a couple of surprises, but all 3 matches expectedly could be one-sided again. And all 3 matches will not be given ODI status. All 3 matches are one-dayers. So that's it from us here on Mutual Fund Sahi Hai, the outside view powered by Fantasy Akhada. We will see you in a couple of days' time.
डायरेक्ट प्लान
म्यूचुअल फंड में खुद से इन्वेस्ट करने का ये एक ऑप्शन है, इससे कमीशन बच जाता है।
अरे यार जस्सी मुझे बताना।
डायरेक्ट प्लान में सोच समझ कर इन्वेस्ट कर तो ही फायदा है।
सही है। तेरी इतना भारी बैग।
म्यूचुअल फंड निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। योजना से जुड़े सभी दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।